The late 1970s in Washington, D.C. was a time of immense paranoia. The Cold War was freezing over, shadows stretched long across the Capitol, and secrets were the true currency of power. But among the whispers and the wiretaps, one man stood as a beacon of uncompromising truth: Senator Arthur Vance. He was untouchable, a charismatic leader who built his career on tearing down corruption. But in Washington, peeling back too many layers can uncover things that are meant to stay buried in the dark. In the autumn of 1979, Vance changed. The confident, smiling politician became a ghost of his former self. He stopped attending public galas. He fired his longtime security detail, replacing them with private contractors. Whispers in the corridors of power suggested Vance had stumbled onto something monumental, a project simply known in redacted documents as Operation Blackout. It started with a leak. An unnamed source from within the intelligence community handed Vance a heavy leather-bound dossier. We don't know what was inside, but those who saw him read it claimed the blood drained completely from his face. It wasn't just a political scandal. It was a technological secret so profound, so terrifying, that it threatened to dismantle the very fabric of global security. Months later, investigators learned Vance wasn't the first to find the dossier. A brilliant aerospace engineer named Dr. Eris Thorne had vanished 6 months prior. The last time Thorne was seen alive, he was frantically trying to contact Senator Vance. Thorne left a single voicemail on the senator's private line. "It's not a weapon, Arthur. It's a door, and they've already opened it." Vance became obsessed. He swept his office for bugs daily. He communicated only through handwritten notes, which he would immediately burn in an ashtray. He told his closest aide, "They aren't just watching us, they are inside the walls." At the time, everyone thought the stress had broken his mind, but history would soon prove that Senator Vance wasn't paranoid. He was just the only one paying attention. On October 12, 1979, Vance made a shocking announcement. He scheduled a live prime-time press conference for the end of the week. He promised to reveal a truth that would, in his words, shake the foundation of American history and redefine our place in the universe. The establishment panicked. The media went into a frenzy. The countdown to Friday began. Thursday, October 14th, the night before the revelation, Vance retreated to room 414 of the prestigious Mayflower Hotel. He ordered black coffee at 9 p.m., tipped the bellboy heavily, and locked the door. He bolted the chain. He jammed a chair under the doorknob. Whatever he was going to expose the next day, he knew they would try to stop him. He just didn't realize what they were capable of. Morning broke. The press was gathering, but Vance never came down. When hotel security finally drilled through the heavy oak door and broke the chain, they found a scene that defied all laws of physics and logic. The windows were locked from the inside. The ventilation shafts were untouched, yet Senator Arthur Vance lay dead on the pristine carpet. There was no blood, no sign of a struggle. His coffee was completely untouched, but the room was freezing cold, nearly 30 degrees, despite the heating running at full blast. And the leather-bound dossier? It was gone. In its place, sitting perfectly centered on the wooden desk, was a single, small pile of fine, white ash. The initial coroner's report was a masterpiece of confusion. Cause of death? Sudden, catastrophic heart failure. But Vance was a marathon runner with a heart like a metronome.
Furthermore, the private medical examiner noted a bizarre anomaly, a tiny, almost microscopic puncture wound directly at the base of his skull, surrounded by a strange geometric bruising pattern that looked like a barcode. That private medical examiner, Dr. Elias Vance, no relation to the senator, refused to sign the official death certificate. He promised to take his findings to the New York Times. 2 days later, his car inexplicably veered off a dry, empty bridge into the Potomac. The official ruling was brake failure. The true autopsy report burned in the wreckage. Before the local police could fully process the hotel scene, the cleaners had arrived. Men in unmarked dark suits with federal badges that had no agency name. They confiscated the body, the files, the hotel logs, and even the carpet where Vance had fallen. Within 3 hours, room 414 looked as though no one had stayed there in years. By evening, the news anchors were reading the government script perfectly. A tragic loss. Senator Vance succumbed to a massive coronary event due to exhaustion. The press conference was canceled. The whispers died down. The machine of Washington moved on, grinding Vance's legacy into dust. But a few brave souls refused to let the story die. A hotel maid named Elena contacted a local journalist 2 days later. She claimed that at 3 a.m. on the night of the murder, she saw a shadow moving down the hallway. Not a person casting a shadow, but a distortion in the air that walked silently right through the solid wood door of room 414. The next morning, Elena vanished. Her apartment was empty, and her records were wiped from existence. Years later, amateur ham radio operators uncovered another chilling detail. On the night of Vance's death, at exactly 3:05 a.m., local radio frequencies in D.C. were hijacked by a strange metallic screeching sound. Audio analysts who recently restored the tapes realized it wasn't static, it was a highly compressed data burst. In 1998, a rogue mathematician ran that audio transmission through a modern decryptor. The screeching was a set of topographical coordinates repeated endlessly. They pointed to a desolate stretch of ice in Antarctica. Declassified spy plane photos from 1979 showed a massive temporary structure built into that exact glacier, which vanished just weeks after Senator Vance was killed. For 40 years, anyone who dug too deep into the Vance case met with tragedy. Investigative journalists found their careers ruined. Private detectives received midnight phone calls consisting only of heavy breathing and the sound of a ticking clock. The message was clear. The conspiracy did not die with Arthur Vance. It just went underground. In 2021, a massive Freedom of Information Act dump released thousands of CIA documents from the 70s. Most were mundane, but internet sleuths found one file titled Project Midnight. The file was 400 pages long. Every single word was blacked out with heavy marker, except for 2 words at the very bottom of the final page. Vance neutralized. What did Senator Vance really know? The prevailing theory is that Operation Blackout wasn't about spying on the Soviets. It was about an artifact recovered deep beneath the ice, capable of folding space. The shadow the maid saw wasn't an assassin breaking into the room. It was an assassin who simply bypassed physical reality altogether. Arthur Vance tried to bring the light into the darkest corners of human power, and the darkness consumed him. Today, room 414 no longer exists. The hotel mysteriously walled it off entirely during renovations. But if you stand in that hallway at 3 a.m., some say the air still runs freezing cold, a chilling reminder that in the halls of power, the truth is the deadliest secret of all.